Thank you for taking the time to watch this LoadProof video case study. So this is about another 3PL, right? This is very fascinating because the 3PLs operate, different size 3PLs operate in different ways, right? That's what we have learned. The huge 3PLs, I mean, the top 50, top 100 3PLs in the US, they got a lot of leverage because they've, got a lot of customers. They've been in the business for a long time. They've, figured out, they've got a lot of expertise that they've figured out and built, knowledge base, and, some are structured, systematic, some are tribal, right? So that's the big 3PLs, right? Then there are the small, tiny 3PLs. So which and I remember talking to one of these SVPs of a 3PL company in one of the trade shows, and he said, "Hey, you know what we do is our strategy that's worked really well for us is that we want to be the best partner for any OEM, and I don't want to chase like 50 customers, 100 customers. Instead, I would just have 10 customers and bend over backwards and do everything for them. So I'm the first person they call when my customer OEM brand name company has a trouble, right? Has any trouble, even in the middle of the night, we bend over backwards. So that way they have that relay. For example, we work with some of 3PLs. They've had 17 years, 20 years, 25 years relationship with some of these OEM manufacturers, right? And those are billion-dollar companies. So that's the that's how the 3PLs, and especially the tiny 3PLs, even that SVP that I was talking to, his revenue was like 150 million, but he had only like 15 or something like customers, and they would just bend over backwards and do anything for them. It's all about the relationship. And that's how, if you see, there are many, if you really look at the profitability of 3PL and you try to start a 3PL business, I mean, now it's a little different, right? Because everybody's trying to emulate the Amazon model. And especially if you're a small product manufacturer and you want to emulate the Amazon model, you got to go with the 3PL, right? That is the reality here. Whereas so the tiny 3PLs, the way they operate is like they got 3 or 4 customers and they literally do everything the customer asks, and they do only what the customer asks. Because they are small, they don't have the leverage to suggest best practices. They don't have the leverage to, I mean, it's like, hey, give us whatever you don't want to do, in terms of logistics and distribution. Because generally, right, I mean, they're manufacturers and they got the a core competence in terms of manufacturing their product, producing the best quality product, right? Producing solving the latest problem that the consumer is having. So they do that really, really well, and it's not a good use of their time and money to invest in logistics, distribution, figuring them out, especially when there is a really good 3PL that can do that for you, and you can leverage their economies of scale and things like that, right? So that's how it works. So this tiny 3PLs, struggle with that, right? They just, what, hey, what do you want us to help? We'll do that. Just that. That's it. Apart from that, we don't want to talk about anything. That's how they operate. But there are some mid-tier 3PLs that are able to still do what the large 3PLs do, right? In terms of suggesting best practices, in terms of saying, hey, this is how you got to work with this big retailer, big box retailer, and we have had many successes. And I've worked with actually a Marine. This is a Marine lady, and she was running the operation. She was the warehouse general manager, and she was running a really, really tight ship and awesome operation. And she solved many problems working with those big box retailers, right? So I've seen some amazing people. So this 3PL that I'm going to talk about is like a small 3PL. They had like 7 or 8 sites, but they still were able to put in these best practices, put in LoadProof in all of their sites, and give that better visibility to their customers, and provide the transparency, trust, and relationship, improve relationship. And they had some really, really nice customers. And this was the beauty, because this was driven by a corporate level initiative, and there was a industrial engineer, gentleman that was available. Gino was there at the corporate level, and he was the one that was facilitating all the sites, to roll out LoadProof. So that was really nice to see in a small company. Whereas in the large companies, and many of these are dictated by the site managers themselves, and it's highly decentralized operation, and they have sometimes 100 sites, 200 sites, 300 sites. So the regional managers, the regional VPs, the regional directors, they dictate how tools like this get rolled out, right? And we work with all kinds of all sizes, and decentralized, centralized. So this was fascinating to see. Even though they were small, they were able to still recommend those best practices to their OEM customers, and also provide that recommendation, and get the customers to see the value. See, another big thing is that the customers, right, because the financials always sits in the customer's books, and they need to know if there is a damage, anything that's wrong, with the inventory, with the product, they need to know immediately, right? That's so that transparency, this all helped when they were able to log in and then see the photos for themselves, right? So that was very useful, and these people did a great job, and also eventually they got sold out. That was nice to see as well. So yeah, if you are that mid-tier 3PL, and if you want to recommend best practices, I mean, at the end of the day, right, as everybody understands, hey, I'm doing a extra job, or I need to get paid for it. They understand. I mean, and that's this 3PL was able to do. They were able to pass on that subscription cost to their customer, and also make more money, but because they are providing these labor services, right? So that was, normally the big 3PLs did that, but even being a small 3PL, had 7 sites, let's say, right, maybe 1.5 million square feet facility, or 2 million square feet to total warehouse space. So even with that, they were able to do all this, right? That was pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, if you are a similar 3PL, and if you are trying to figure out, suggest, trying to figure out how to handle this, we'll be happy to help. And again, right, reach out to us. We'll give you a detailed case study, the cost, savings. I mean, a lot of savings, multiple millions across 7 facilities, right? So we'll be happy to, share with you, and even we can even create a LoadProof value assessment for your scenario. And we've been doing that lately for many of our, prospects and customers. We can come up with approximate savings. This is what, so you can take it to your senior management, executives, and show them, and explore the possibility. So yeah, I mean, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we'll be happy to help. And again, right, this is a commitment that I make. We don't want to sell you something that's not going to be beneficial to you, but I guarantee you that if you use it, you will find it valuable, and we'll give you a free trial. And we guarantee you 99% of our customers, prospects, they were able to save starting from the free trial. So yeah, please, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.